What mistake ultimately benefited you? Recently, I went on vacation, and the hotel compensated me because their pool was closed. However, later we went to the pool and found out it was actually fine. Plus £60 for the vacation, thank you very much. I ordered the delivery of a new TV from Veivutsu. I immediately paid online for the workers to dismantle my old TV. It was heavy, and move it to another room. But I didn't pay for the installation of the new one, which was twice as light, because that would have cost me another $250 for about 11 minutes of work that I could do myself. The couriers dismantled the old TV, moved it to another room, and hung it up there. Then they hung the new one, finished the job, looked at the documents, and said, "Oh, we weren't supposed to do that." Well, enjoy your new TV. I gave them both $20 each. They probably weren't allowed to take it, but who would stop them? In 1996, I was in Miami with my family. On the day we were supposed to return, we overslept and missed our flight to Atlanta. Do you know what happened to that flight? The plane exploded 15 minutes after takeoff, and everyone on board died. It was the deadliest aviation disaster in Florida's history. I was interviewing for a new job. The employer asked me what my last salary was, and I gave an approximate figure. He assumed that figure didn't include various bonuses, but it did. As a result, I started earning 40% more. When moving from the UK to the USA in 1990, my father was asked what his salary was. He converted it to dollars and told them, but they misunderstood and thought he said the amount in British pounds. As a result, he got a salary almost twice what he was earning in the UK. Our manager was fired, and the company struggled to find a replacement. Managers from other offices didn't want to take over ours because we had terrible performance metrics, and the manager never received any bonuses. So, we reported to some guy working in several cities away from us, whom we never met in person, communicating only by phone and email. Eventually, we were handed over to another boss, and we never saw him either. The first time we got a new temporary boss, I called him and asked how many vacation days I had left. He told me 2 weeks. It seemed strange since I had already used a few days, but despite that, I asked if I could take all 2 weeks right then, and he said yes. Later, he left, and we got another boss. I asked him how many vacation days I had left, and he said 2 weeks. So, that year I took 8 weeks of vacation, and no one noticed. This wasn't a mistake per se, but once we went shopping for school shoes with my mom. She left my sister and me, we were about 8 or 10, to stand in line at the checkout. Suddenly, some woman just cut in front of us, and even though we told her she was cutting in line, she blatantly ignored us. When it was our turn to pay, we were told we had won a computer. We became the nth customer to make a purchase and were awarded the prize according to the contest rules. A woman I thought I loved and wanted to marry broke up with me. It was a tough lesson, but the pain was worth it. I quit drinking, started seeing a therapist, and learned a lot about myself. Now, I am a completely different person than I was 4 years ago, and much happier. I got my current job because another guy showed up for the interview almost an hour late. My boss told me that we had very similar qualifications, but he had more experience in this field. In the end, the company chose me because they found him to be unreliable. A sweet girl passing by lightly slapped me on the butt. We flirted a bit, so when I walked past her, I also lightly hit her on the butt. It turned out she had accidentally hit me with a pan she was carrying and didn't even realize she had done it. After I slapped her, she almost punched me in the face. Anyway, we've been married for 11 years now. I think it's time to share this. Many years ago, I was supposed to be paid $443.21 for a job, but they mistakenly added a zero. I didn't tell anyone, and the company never noticed. As a result, I was paid $4,432.10. Another time, I took out a $2,000 loan from my bank and made only 2 payments when the bank was sold. A month later, I called the new bank to ask how to make a payment. The man told me to wait for the statement in the mail. I asked what would happen if they didn't send me the statement. He repeated, "Wait for the statement, sir." This was in 2015, and I'm still waiting. 40 years ago, the bank didn't register a $400 withdrawal from my account. 3 years ago, my HR department updated their computer system and gave me 2 years' worth of vacation. I asked them if everything was correct in the system, and they said yes. Interestingly, my bank did the same thing over 40 years ago. They mistakenly deposited $3,200 into my checking account. I waited and waited for them to notice and correct the mistake, but they never did. I paid for my college tuition with that money. One time, I had to climb 26 flights of stairs. Here's the story. We were on vacation in Florida in 2022. My great-grandparents' apartment is on the 26th floor. My parents and I decided to climb up the stairs as a sort of challenge. We're a family that loves lifting weights and working out. The next day, for some reason, my legs started hurting a lot, probably because of this incident. Then, on January 3, 2023, 5 days later, we went to get it checked out. I had bone damage that turned out to be cancer a week later. If I hadn't taken on the 26th floor challenge, I probably wouldn't have known about it until it turned into metastasis, and I might already be dead, but now I've been in remission for 7 months. A couple of weeks ago, I stopped at a gas station on my way home to get $10 worth of gas and buy a milkshake for my girlfriend. I asked the cashier to set pump number 6 to give me exactly $10 worth of gas. The guy hesitated for a second and looked puzzled. He said, "It looks like someone paid $30 for pump 6 and didn't use it. Do you want just $10 or what?" I was like, what kind of dumb question is that? Do I want $30 worth of free gas? Heck yeah, I do. That was quite a day. I had no problem paying $30 for a full tank, but it was literally $30 worth of free gas. If someone gives me something for free, I'll take it. A delivery guy gave me someone else's order. It was the best burger I've had in weeks. Correction. As far as I remember, it was a burger from Five Guys with fries and a soda. I was late for my flight home and hadn't eaten all day. I was incredibly hungry, and about 20 minutes after takeoff, a flight attendant handed me a ham and salad sandwich. I hadn't pre-ordered food for the flight, so I assumed she mixed up the seat numbers and gave me someone else's food. It saved me. I inherited some money and, against the advice of my financial advisor, paid off my entire mortgage with it. This action gave me an incredible sense of freedom. I drove through a Starbucks drive-thru where they gave me the wrong sandwich for breakfast. I was running late, so I decided, why not, and ate it anyway. Now I order it all the time. My mom sent me to the local Albertsons to buy dishwashing liquid. This was back when they still had a video rental section. My mom sent me with enough money to buy the dishwashing liquid. I was about 12 years old at the time. So, I get to the register, and they ring up the dishwashing liquid, but the price is different from what was on the shelf. I started to worry because I wasn't sure if I had enough money. I said something to them, and they double-checked the price. It turned out their system had the product incorrectly priced, so according to the store's policy, which I didn't know about, I could take the item for free. I ended up with the dishwashing liquid handed to me by the manager and still had all the money. Then I decided to prank my mom. I went and rented a movie that I knew my family had wanted to watch for a long time. When I got home, I proudly pulled out the movie from my backpack and showed everyone what a great film I had just rented. Just as my mom was about to lose it, I pulled out the dishwashing liquid and explained what had happened. We accidentally chose my dog. We went to get a specific dog, but ended up leaving with another one. She's the best, and I wouldn't trade her for any other dog. One semester in college, there was a housing shortage, so I was placed in a hotel room on campus with another student. The document stated that I could move in on Saturday morning, but I had a work shift both Saturday and Sunday morning. I worked near my parents' house, so I planned to move in on Sunday after my shift. About a week before moving in, the manager called me and said there had been a mistake and I wouldn't be able to move in until Sunday. Before I could tell them that it didn't matter since I wasn't planning to move in until Sunday anyway, they said they would give me a $150 food voucher for the inconvenience. I thanked them and said I could rearrange my move to Sunday. I bought a washer and dryer 20 years ago. They were expensive, around $3,000. The company delivered and installed them. I bought them using a new store credit card that I had just been issued. Then I started receiving statements with no balance information on the card. I called the store, and they told me that my card had no balance, no charges, no purchases. Being super honest, I spent the entire next month trying to explain to them that yes, I really did buy a washer and dryer from them, and they were now at my house. They couldn't find any records of the purchase and finally told me, well, we don't see any data on our end, so, enjoy. I still feel guilty about it. My son got into an accident. A very bad accident. The seatbelt in the car malfunctioned and unbuckled. He was thrown through the windshield and sustained a lot of injuries. He had a broken back in 4 places. All the bones in his right arm were broken, and his blood vessels were torn. He also had internal damage to his kidneys and liver, as well as a traumatic brain injury. These were just the major injuries. There were several other non-life-threatening injuries. But the point is, the passenger side where he was sitting was completely crushed, and if he had stayed there, he wouldn't have survived. Being ejected from the car actually saved his life. Thank you for watching. What kind of life-changing situations have happened to you? Tell us about it in the comments, we will be happy to read. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.